Hotep, greetings once again. This is one of my tarot cards I pulled. I recently got another deck I was guided to. I'm here today, now, to shed some light on meditation, or not shed light, but spread light. How do you meditate? And what is the effective format for bringing oneself into a focused state of awareness? The first thing we must know is that keeping the spine aligned, whether we are sitting with our legs crossed or feet touching the ground, is important. If our feet are touching the ground, we want the entire foot planted on the ground. This is because it creates the stability. The feet pull energy from the ground, whether shoes are on or not. Meditation is best without shoes on, because the feet have energy centers that absorb energies from the atmosphere, same as the hands do, palms of hands. So we usually want them to be free. And meditation is best with the shirts off and shorts, or whatever, however far you want to be going with that. Because you want to sense the atmosphere on your body. So when you're closing your eyes, the first thing that you should notice is what direction your head may lean. Many, as you can see, or you cannot see, I am sitting in a chair that has a back to it. And when you are sitting in a chair that has a back to it, the tendency is to lean. Usually, see, if this is your tendency, then what you will want to do is you will want to scoot your behind all the way to the part where the chair makes the L shape. That way, if you lean, your spine remains straight. And if you're feeling like you need support, if you are seeing that you're falling asleep or your spine is weakening, for whatever reason, then that also helps to support it so that you don't have to use the backup chair. The next thing, see, if you're leaning forward, then that's something else. That means that you are in energy. So you have to focus is to know here, this right here is all your energy. And it will move this way, or it can move that way, or it can move this way. It can move in any direction. However, if when we get into a deeper state of focus, so once we've sat here long enough, maybe 20, 30 minutes, you should be able to sense it. Many times I may sense mine going this way. And you should sense it as a very soft motion, almost like when the air is flowing, you can't really sense it unless it's very powerful. But when you resting state of awareness, focused, you can sense even the slightest breezes of air when there's less distraction. So when there's more traction in the focus, more grip, the stability in the mind, you can sense when your mind is going in what direction. And what you're going to do is you're going to counterbalance that. So, and this takes practice. So when you're sitting, and I begin to notice that the awareness is funneling here. Now, when I say counterbalance, that is for balance. It has little to do with what a purpose might be, because there are times when my purpose is to activate more of my stimulate my third eye. And so I would less want to counter it by, so when I'm closing my eye and at this moment my energy is flowing this way. If I'm wanting to balance it, then I reverse the flow. And so if I was to show you with my eyebrows here, it would look like this. And you can do that. If you're sensing your energy flowing this way, you can use this. And just focus your awareness on the energies coming back this way, and they will catch themselves right here. They will clash, and then the waves will spread outward, and you will become balanced. The other way is to go the opposite direction. So, because you may notice that your energy is going this way, which means most likely you're starting to fall asleep. When you're going this way, it most likely has more to do. Usually, whichever way you're going, if you're meditating, you will end up falling asleep. However, if you're going this way, it usually means you're thinking a lot. A lot of things are taking your awareness. And if you're going this way, it usually means that you're very calm. However, you don't have very much focus. So there's not a, it's almost like you're in a sleepy state when you're going about. And so when your energy, you notice it's going this way, then you're saying, because you're wanting to stimulate, so you want to, you watch the eyebrows. See, when I was going, when the energy was going this way, I was going like this. Eyebrows come together here, and they go out there. So they come together. And when the energy is going actually this way, because remember, when this way, eyebrows come together here, go up. And the energy is going this way, then the eyebrows actually spread apart, come up, go down. And what that does is counterbalance it. Now, some things that we want to be aware of when we are meditating. When we smile during meditation, because many people get into meditation and they see it as the act of neutralization, which can be true. However, you can neutralize things with a smile, and you can neutralize things also with a frown or just a straight face. However, if we're attempting to raise our vibrations through meditation, which is often the objective, then we want to smile, because this actually tells the energy, go upward. Okay, so most of our energy usually sits maybe here or maybe somewhere like there in these areas. If you're watching this video, it's probably somewhere in the abdomen to the lower upper heart area. But we want to raise it up here. And this is less about the chakra system and how certain chakras may be active and certain may be not. What we're talking about here is actually that there is a certain, let's say that you go back to the air. Your aura, see, many people have an aura that emits outward, but you have another part of your energy that is, and what they call it is Kundalini. However, that is a bit obscure as a term to use. Is think about it as air, or some people may think water. It can come upward and go downward like this. And actually, I can sense mine because I can place mine where I want it to be. So if you want it to come up here, smiling really helps. And when you're smiling, and especially if you want it to come up here, it's very good to do the, in this direction. So to do the, and you may begin to notice that when you're meditating, you can actually, right here, feel your energy. So if right here, you can feel your energy, you can sense it, then you want to actually push it upward if you can. And if you ever hear your vibration and you know how to turn that on, then you just focus it upward, because what you want to happen is you want to feel it right up here. So you want to focus it upward. And what's going to happen is right here, your heart, you should begin to sense a vibration there. You should begin to sense some kind of activity in there, and it should feel good. The sense should be good. You should sense the releasing happening, because, and it's going to happen with every single part of your body. However, usually it starts there, because contrary to what many people believe, there's chakra activation down low, and it goes in sections based on what it is that, because when the heart releases, it also formats other parts of your cellular structure and your energy field. So when the heart releases, it releases the arms. So the first thing that usually actually releases is the heart, that fully releases, because you start with the brain, and then it's the heart, and then usually the arms. After the arms, the next thing that comes often is the legs. And then after the legs, the next thing that comes usually is the abdomen. After the abdomen comes the throat, and then the brain will fully release. That is my experience. Some things to know about meditations is that sometimes, especially if you're in a situation where distractions are common, you want to have resistance, because if you just down it, then it's gone, right? Unless you have infinite monies, then okay. But you want to have pure waters, because you may need a swig of water to keep your vibration going, as there can be distractions, and water can be quite a satisfying thing for raising vibration. But the most important thing that I've noticed is I have my manuka honeys, or oftentimes maybe I have just a little bit of popcorn. We have a little bit of popcorn. Something light that you can just, and then enjoy the vibration of it, because food also has its own vibration. Who cooked it, where it was grown, even where you had it. If you blissed it, you had it on altar, right? So, or surrounded with crisp gemstones, but gemstones on top of it. Like, you have top of manuka honeys, it has top on it. Usually I can put crystal gemstone on there, but I know how to channel my energies. So you can do those things. And so things get turbulent, you just, or it's just difficult to focus. And it needs to be something you love. So it's basically like fun food. And we want it to be conscious. Along my experience, conscious eating and drinking is the absolute most powerful and satisfying form of meditation that I have ever done. Out of everything, and I mean everything, including creating, wire wrapping, everything that I have done, conscious eating and drinking have been the most satisfying forms of meditation I have ever done. And those were the things that I learned in the beginning. Conscious eating and drinking, being aware of it. Because when you eat a food, many people just would taste so good, you're not tasting it. You only taste it when you eat that one bite. And then you sit. Be like serpent, snake, lizard, dragonfly, a cat. You really sense the essence of the food. And once you get so good at that, you can begin to sense where in your body the food went and even what it's doing. You see, the one time I knew that I was actually healing, my energy was healing itself, is that I saw my cellular structure. I was in a meditative state and I went to rest. So I went to sleep. Is what people call sleep. I call it resting because sleep, we have a different idea of what sleep is. So I went to rest and then I saw myself as one of my cells actually exterminating harmful bacteria from my body. And I said, well, this is working. That's quite a great confirmation. And I begin to notice more and more of when I'm meditating. Where this energy is going, this energy we call food, this awareness that we are consuming and we're calling it food, where it's going for us. And you'll be surprised what areas of your body need food the most that science usually won't tell you. Some things to know about meditation specifically, aside from the food, which is one of the best ones, with having tea with your meditations. I less recommend coffee because we want it to be conscious. So we're stimulating ourselves through our awareness, less so through trying to utilize a thing. However, when it comes to teas or it comes to your, what you call fun food, light fun food, it's different because you can piggyback off of that vibration to make something. That is not something that, like, as opposed to coffee, this honeys or the tea doesn't actually force a stimulation. What it is something that I can use if I am conscious to hold on to that vibration. The coffee is just, it's like it just keeps you going and going and going until it stops. And that's fine if we want to hop on the wagon of something else and let it wheel us until we have to carry ourselves again. However, this is a conscious act meditation, so I choose to stay away from those things, and I am less judging anyone who chooses to be one who partakes in those. Anyways, so when you're meditating, some other things to be aware of is, excuse me, when we get control of our brain, and notice I didn't say mind, I said brain, because in the study that I do and where I have begun, all is the mind. So I say brain. Once we get control of our brain, we will begin to notice that certain parts of our body, pretty much the entire thing, usually follow suit. Excuse me. It usually follows suit. So what we'll have going in is, let's say we're having some kind of problem with our heart. And I've had a lot of those as a child. Once I get control of my brain completely, because even, the brain, it does things, it gets stimulated, and then you have to go off and do things, you have to go to working or something happens. I've had to do a lot of things. And the brain can get overstimulated, so it can be going and going and going. But once we get control of it, then mysteriously other parts of our body seem to come under control. It's because the brain is the leading function in the body as it applies to our conscious awareness. We think from the brain mostly. This is because it was created for that. We sense from the heart. We exist from the core. And we also, actually, the ironic part about it is that I've noticed that our feet seem to have the same, in a reversed way, brain that our head does. I've noticed this because when I'm walking, sometimes the control over the brain that I can't seem to get through meditations or sitting, I can get walking. And I say, why is that? And what I began to notice is that the feet have sensors down there. And when you press them through walking or jogging, what happens is the same thing happens and when you're thinking. So even now, I've learned to be able to focus my energy through my legs and my feet to be able to actually relax the rest of my body the same way I can do in the brain. However, it's easier using the brain because most of us are actually attuned to that state of awareness, the brain, how it functions. We know how to somewhat stop negative thinking. And if we are not, then you are learning now, hopefully. That counterbalancing act is very powerful because negative thoughts usually come from backward to forward, not forward to backward. They usually come this way. They don't usually come this way because usually when your energy is going this way, you're going into relaxing. And usually when your energy is going this way, you're a bit overstimulated. And it can be different depending on the individual. I'm less saying that everyone has to be that way. Surprises are good. Those, as it applies to the brain, once we get control of it, the rest of the body, especially the shoulders. See, this part of the shoulders here, when we get control of the brain, usually these will depress. So they will, they might not always depress pretty much, but you know, because many people, they sit kind of like this. Their shoulders are within. And they usually will be something like that. Other things you may notice is this area here. You can relax it by doing the same thing I was talking about with the eyebrows. And then you focus on this part here. You can actually and you may actually have to blow your nose afterwards. Hopefully, if there's some congestion there. These all take practice. Some very key things to think about and remember when you're doing these meditations is that you can you can hum tunes. Singing meditations. I do a lot of singing meditations. So ah is more powerful when your eyes are closed because you're focused more on your internal now. So you see, if you close your eyes and do that long enough, you should begin to see colors behind your eyes. I've noticed that that actually alters vibration and frequency faster than when you sing with your eyes open, because when you sing with your eyes open, you see things. I mean, your brain is more registered in your environment. But when your eyes are closed, then maybe you cross-legged or you sitting down, you know, just in a, you know, folded legged position with feet back, leg, difficult for explaining. But when you're in some kind of position where your eyes are closed and you're making sounds, you usually can see colors behind your eyelids. The colors that are usually the most seen are yellow, purple, green, blue. Some people see red, some people see orange. It's all, you know, personal. However, yellow, green, blue, purple are usually the most seen colors because meditation is usually stimulating one of those areas more so than it is the lower energy centers. So what else about meditations? Some beginner meditator stuff. Sounds, okay? So when you're meditating with sounds, some sound can be extremely powerful for resting meditation. So online you can find various sleep meditation sounds and, you know, up and about meditation sounds. Bells are especially good for when you're trying to stimulate third eye. So we're talking about bells, chimes, things like that. In stimulating the heart, singing bowls. Singing bowls, very good for us. For the heart, singing bowls. Very good for the heart. And let's see what else. The tuning fork is very good for third eye meditations. Besides singing, but the gong is good for the heart as well. I know the gong is very good. Yeah, so I want to listen to some gongs. Powerful for the heart energy. What else is good? The drums are decent for the heart and decent for the, but the drums are more of the belly. So when we're talking about drums, we're talking about belly. And that usually would involve oftentimes some getting up and dancing, or usually that will be some kind of subconscious thing where we're actually diving into the deeper parts of ourselves to bring out some kind of granddad state of our beingness that exists more in the core of our beingness. So we're talking about higher vibrational meditations or core vibrations, which is middle, or lower vibrations, which is the feet. Then the feet, the legs area. Then when you go down there, then you have more drums, and you have, when you're going up higher, then you usually have more singing bowl, you have more gong, you have more tuning fork, you have more the chimes and bells, and you have things like that. So chimes, bells, tuning fork, very good for third eye, throat, gong, singing bowl, very good for heart. And there are other things as well. There are other tools that are used to stimulate heart, throat, and third eye, and what they call crown. However, I see crown is actually a little above head, at least that's the way I kind of see it. I don't really see it as being on head, because actually it should be behind head, but I don't, every tradition has it differently. So I just know what I see with myself, and I go with that. So those are some things that can be used for meditations. And an extremely powerful part of meditation is always the visualization. So you can pretty much visualize your aura to be anything. And sometimes open eye meditations is very good. So you can meditate on things like, I'm going to do share screen. And what I want to share is desktop. So go there, meditate on something like, where is that? There you go. And I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. And if you couldn't see that, then I'm very sorry about that. So that was just a picture of the planets, and meditating on symbols and things like that is very powerful for trancing meditation. So just to keep yourself focused. So even just a dot, or I used to use the coordinate of objects, or just some object with the color. So like this, or pattern. You see that pattern? There we go. So I would meditate on things like that, and that greatly expedited my meditative progress, as well as meditating on gemstones. And I have gemstone meditation video I'll post down below. So, or you can also meditate on your waters and your foods. So that's about blessing the food and programming it with vibrations and things like that. And I also, the third eye meditation video, as you meditate on gemstones, you can meditate on foods as well. And I might as well explain it here, is that when you're doing that, that's with your forward eye when you're doing this. And then once you can actually sense the vibration of your vibration going forward, then you can actually focus it on things like your water. And you won't see my eyebrows moving during this because I don't need them to. And sometimes you begin to notice, and you may notice that it's easier to focus because if you can see your aura a little bit, you can focus on your aura instead of the water, and enhance the aura of your hand and your vision. And this enhances everything because it's about your intentions. So if you're enhancing your aura with the intentions of having a cleansing energy, it will also be cleansing and programming for your water. So you just breathing during your meditations is highly important, and knowing how to breathe. Sometimes not breathing actually is better than breathing. It depends. I recommend breathing for now because if you don't breathe, then you may pass out. Now, she's saying, yeah, man, you told me to do that now. Let's keep it breathing. But to know how to breathe, I actually made a video on how to breathe to be able to build up energies. But this is different. I will post that video below as well, same as with gemstone video. But this is different because we are less trying to build up energies, more stabilizing, just stabilizing. Has nothing to do with trying to create strong order, just stabilizing order. So when you're just stabilizing order or you're just meditating, is what we can call it, then just keeping the spine erect and taking deep breaths is good enough. However, we can also see when we're breathing, you need to know how long you want to breathe. So for me, usually it's however long before I have to release breath. But if you want to get control of your thoughts, many people do 4-second breathe in, 4-second hold, 4-second release. I've noticed that it depends on the person. Because some people you can do and it also depends on the situation. So when you're meditating, because some people, what I just showed was some people can do it longer and some people need to just simply go and not think. And some people actually need a regimen. Now, when let's say you have been running, so meditation is quite powerful for when you just got to running. You'll stop. You could be standing, but I recommend sitting, and then you and it'll take a bit of minute maybe for you to calm down your body and then get your blood. Just wait. Once you finally get it, you release something. You may, have that blockage somewhere. You may have been jogging because you want to keep cardio proper. But once you get that right proper, because I was actually born with things they consider to be heart conditions. So I dealt with and still, I transcend those heart conditions by through meditative focus and usually through stimulation and then meditative practice, focusing of some sort. And you can use gemstone for that too. However, this when you close and then you actually after your exercise, it focuses the energy into the area that you need to release, and then it deals with the energetic dysfunction there. So whatever distortion that we are having there that's causing a disconnect between that area and the rest of our body is being released through that meditative process. And it also strengthens the aura fast. So let's say you did the meditation after you're jogging, your aura will be even stronger rather than because many people do jogging, get heart rate up, do jogging, get stronger, go longer, faster. You'll be able to go longer and faster if you do meditations afterwards because it will focus all of that energy. Rather than you did it and then you go eat and you stretching and then you go resting. You do it and then you meditate and then you stretching and then you eat. More powerful that way. Everyone is fine to do what they choose. Or I'll tell you what has made me the most powerful that I could possibly be. So much love and happy ascension. That was just some things. I will keep videos short. So some people have working, they have things to do. Some people have short attention span, and that's okay because I can be that way. It's all relative to our state of beingness and vibration. Just make sure that catch everything you can and drop what you don't need. Hold on to what is precious to you. Love the people you should be with. Love the people you need to let go of, but keep your distance, strong boundaries. And meditation is the art of doing that, building boundaries, building stability, building focus, building confidence. Everything that we need is already within us. And sometimes we need help. So that is what I am here for. Thank you very much for watching video. I will return to my meditations and practices of building instabilities. Shem, here Maat. Let's go do Maat. Merie, love, Hotep, peace.